we
hard to see, but
maybe we can get out of the sun a little bit. Let's just we'll just keep putting this way out and around, and maybe once we get with the sun to our backs. Or one thing you'll notice, and I see a lot of people doing it that are just going to the inboards, is as we're driving around, you know, I catch a lot of people oversteering. You know, so like if we wanted to start going left, they'll like throw it to the left and then back to the right and then back to the left. You know, whereas like with the boat, I mean, you literally can make really small adjustments and the boat's just going to really start going that direction. You know, like if you're going through a channel or something, you see a lot of people that are, you know, they're going this way and this way. And it's like if you just relax and keep it nice and straight, the boat's going to track nice and straight. I bet you even if we just go like this. Yep, there you go. Maybe with the sun at in front of us, maybe we'll get a...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see better.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the touchscreen over here first.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind is it's going to be a lot different than, let's say, an iPod or your iPad, okay? Because they don't want us to just touch the start button and start and stop the boat, you know? See how that doesn't work?
Yeah.
We've actually got to allow it to sense the heat of our finger.
Okay.
So once it senses that, it'll turn the boat on or turn the boat off.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of do it like we're coming to the boat for the first time. Okay, so I turn the power off.
Turn the power.
So we come to the boat, we hit the power. It's going to bring up all of our gauges in our radio. You're also going to hear the blower come on automatically. Okay. The blower is going to run for 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, it will shut itself off. I'm just going to turn it off right now. So it says enter code 00001234. Well, the code from the factory is 1234. So again, if I just go 1234, it didn't even read that one time. We've got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it says start engine. We also have a change and a disable button. If I hit the change button, 4 green zeros pop up, and now I can set that code to whatever 4 digits I want. So for the time being, I'm still going to leave it at 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say that I did just change it. In order to save that, I would have to hit the power button. Okay?
Okay.
Otherwise, it would stay at 1, 2, 3, 4 until we hit the button. Does that make sense?
So to change it, you put change.
Type in whatever
code.
4 digits you want.
Yeah. And then hit the power button.
Power button.
Okay.
Next button is disable. Really the only reason I ever use that button is sometimes that my brother's kids come out with me. They're 4 and 2.5. So they're rowdy and they already know how to start the boat, stop the boat, everything. So it's like sometimes if we're swimming and I want to listen to the radio, I don't want them to be able to start the boat. So what I'll do is I'll come over and hit disable. Now it says enable. I hit enable. Now it prompts us to type that code back in. So that's everything with the code there.
So now when we start and stop, I don't have to put the code in until I turn the power off.
Or you hit disable. Enable. Yep.
Okay.
Next button is switch,
So
which
I have to keep the code away from my kids.
Yeah, exactly. Then they won't be able to start it. Next button is switch, which is on the bottom left right there. Mm-hmm. And that's just going to bring up your blower, which we talked about is automatic, that runs with the power button. We can turn that on and off. The bilge pump, which is automatic, it has a float on it. So if there's water that gets in the boat, it's automatically going to pump it out. But we can manually turn that on if we'd like. And auxiliary. Auxiliary is not hooked up to anything. So that's if you add something else.
Okay. The bilge, I didn't hear it. Did it just not come on, or is it pretty quiet?
Listen.
Oh, pretty quiet.
Yeah. Setup. When I hit setup, there's only one thing in here you're ever going to change, and that's going to be the dim level. And what that coincides with, if I hit enter, that's going to be with your night button. So right now it's at 50, so if I hit night, both screens dim down. Not enough though. We're going to want to set it down towards like 10. So we'll leave it at 8. That's where I have my boat. So now if I hit the night button, they both come back on. So if you ever want to dim the night button down more, we just go switch, setup, set dim level, enter. We can change it.
Okay.
Next button is lights. Very self-explanatory. We want our lights on at night, we hit the nav light. Dash lights, hit the dash light. Interior lights, hit the interior lights. Nice is up in the corner here, we have an all off button. So if we want to go ahead and shut the power off to everything, we just hit the off button, shuts down all the lights. Next button is MLS. That stands for Malibu Launch System. So this is where we can manually fill our ballast. So what I mean by manually is we can go in and fill them all, drain them all, turn them all off with the all off button. I can click on the front tank and go fill tank. I can turn it off. So this is just how you could manually fill it. In a little bit I'm going to show you on the presets how we hit one button and it fills it up automatically.
And that's only if you're like toying with it, trying to get your ballast just right. I mean, why?
Yeah, exactly. So like let's say that we're in the boat and it's me, you, and one other person, and that third person's sitting in the corner over here. Or let's say we have 10 people in the boat and there's only 3 over here and 6 over, or 4, 2 over here and 8 over here. The boat's going to be uneven. Okay. What we could do then is we could say, okay, well, we're going to drain some ballast out of the left side to make it even, or we're going to add some ballast to the right side to bring the boat even. Otherwise, the boat's going to drive like this or like this, and also the wake is going to be uneven on one side, if that makes sense, because of the way the boat's driving.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So you on the boat, adjust one side of the
yeah, or you could move people around too. Either way. Next button we're going to talk about is the power wedge, which is up here. It says up with an arrow up, power wedge deploy, and down. Okay. So we're going to need to start the boat to talk about this. So I'm going to start the boat up. So right now up here you can see that the power wedge, can you see that on there? The power wedge is all the way up. So whenever I go to put the power wedge down, we want to be in neutral, not moving. Okay? And then I'll go over here, I'll hit the power wedge deploy button, and now check it out here. It's going down. So that'll bring it all the way to the down position. Now, anywhere in this green area, we can adjust that wedge, whether we're going 1 mile an hour or 24. So anywhere in between there. Okay. And so what I mean is we could be going 10 miles an hour surfing and adjust it, or we could be going 22 and wakeboarding and adjust it. Okay. And what that's going to do is as we bring the wedge up, it's going to change the shape of the wake. The presets on here I've went in and redone, so they're going to be really good, and they'll get you really close. So a lot of times you won't have to play with the wedge up and down, but anytime we want to bring the wedge all the way up, we've got to be just barely in gear, okay? And that's a safety feature, because they don't want someone swimming back there and that wedge start to come up. So once I'm moving like this, now I can press up and hold it, and it's going to move. It's going to let you know that it's coming up. You press and hold it until it stops beeping. Once it stops beeping, I can let go, and we know it's all the way up. Now, the red area there, we call that no man's land. The reason I call it that is we never want to run it in that area. So if we hit down to like right there, if we were to take off right now, we're going to blow the fuse on it.
On the wedge?
Yep, because there's too much pressure. It's pulling both of our hydraulic rods apart, and it's trying to suck them back in. It's going to blow the fuse. And I'm going to show you where the fuse is. It's up underneath the dash. I'll show you that at the end. But the only way that's ever going to happen is if you do something like that.
Okay.
So
but it doesn't give you a signal or anything like that?
That's why anytime I put the wedge down, I hit the deploy button, not the down button. Because then you know it's going to drop all the way down.
Got it. And you know it's all the way up?
When it stops beeping. Yep. Next button is your surf gate button. Really simple.
Okay.
Whatever side you want to surf on, you simply touch that side. When you hit it up on the top here, it's going to say surf gate will extend above 7 miles per hour. So that surf gate's going to remain in until the boat gets up over 7 miles an hour. Then the surf gate's going to engage. So again, we hit the arrow on the side that we want to surf. So now we're surfing the left side.
Right. Okay.
When we're done with it, we can hit the middle and it'll bring it back.
Push it to center. Okay.
We ever want to surf the other side, we hit the right button and we can go surf on the right side now. Alright, we'll jump up into our gauges here. We have air temp, lake temp, and depth. We talked about our power wedge. Here's our front, center, left, and right tanks. Those will fill up in 25% increments. So just for the time being, I'm just going to fill the front, just to give you an idea what that looks like in a little bit here. On the bottom, very bottom, we have engine temperature 160. That's where it's going to run normally at, is 160. Engine hours, so we have 0.9 hours, almost a full hour. And then our fuel.
It's full.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mute. Yep. Mute button on the side here. What's nice about that button is, let's say I fell wakeboarding, you want to talk to me quick, you can hit the mute button, talk to me, touch it again, the volume will come back on.
Okay.
On the bottom here it says speed off, miles per hour set 26, actual 0. This is just a way to set the cruise control. So I'm also going to show you with the cruise button how we can set it, but we can also set it here. So it's off right now, we can hit the on button to turn it on, so now it says speed on. We can adjust the set speed by touching the arrows up and down. So I'm going to bring the set speed way down. I'm going to show you. So now we can see that front tank is 25% full. So I'm going to bring our set speed all the way down to, let's just go to a surf speed, and I'll show you the surf gate. So we'll go down to $10.2. It's on. Now all we have to do is put the boat in gear, bring the boat up. I'm going to hit the surf gate just to show you. Bring the boat up to 10 miles an hour. The boat will actually beep at you, and that's when it'll say speed ENG. So there it beep, cruise control picked up. So now you'll see your yellow arrow of your surf gate turn green. That's how you know it's engaged. And if we look back, you can see the surf wave. Now if I hit the other side, here, boom, now check it out in the back. It's actually going to go from one side to the other. So now we have a surf wake on the other side.
That's a nice fish.
What's nice is when I bring it back, the cruise control is going to go to basically like hitting the brake on a car. It's going to remain on. The surf gate's automatically going to come back in. So you'll see in about a second here that'll turn yellow, and then I can hit surf gate center if I want to go back to the center.
When I stopped, the surf gate stayed out there?
What's that?
When you stopped?
Nope, it automatically comes in.
Oh.
It doesn't extend out until we get to 7 miles an hour, and then it comes back in when we get under 7.